Real is made for the kids of Wisconsin by the people at Wisconsin Public Television and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Major funding for Get Real is provided by the National Science Foundation, supporting education and research in science, mathematics, and technology. In cooperation with Marshfield Children's, care for kids from birth through adolescence at Marshfield Clinic and St. Joseph's Hospital. The foundation of the Wisconsin Automobile and Truck Dealers, giving a boost to great ideas for Wisconsin. And the Humphrey Foundation.
3, 2, 1.
Get real.
Get real.
Real cool.
Yeah! Hey, this is Get Real, and it's all about Wisconsin kids. I'm Asa Derks.
And I'm Shannon Lowe. Today we're checking out some Wisconsin history at the State Historical Museum.
And the Wisconsin Veterans Museum.
We'll also meet a young go-kart racer zooming around a track in Eau Claire. And we'll take in a powwow on the Lakota Ray Indian Reservation.
Then we'll meet brother and sister ski jumpers who both competed in the Junior Olympics.
But first, we're meeting a girl and a really cool dog. Together, they're making a difference. Here in the State Historical Museum, like in other public buildings, no pets are allowed.
The only exception is service dogs. They're specially trained to help people who have physical disabilities.
The dogs usually wear a cape like this so that people know they're working and not just somebody's pet.
Service dogs spend the first part of their life living with their trainers. One of those trainers is Tiffany Bontley from Janesville.
Meet Wisconsin's own governor. No, not Governor Tommy Thompson in Madison. Governor from Janesville. Yes, he's a dog. And this is Tiffany. She's training Governor to be a service dog. Governor is trained to help someone who uses a wheelchair do things that person might have trouble doing, like turning on a light or opening the refrigerator. Tiffany does much of the training from a wheelchair, so Governor gets used to it.
Every week we go to class with Governor, and they train me to train him. I take him with me wherever I go because the behavior that I teach him in public places will help him when he is with his recipient. He should not bark or sniff. Don't touch. Don't touch. He learns to pull a wheelchair.
Yeah, good boy,
He will learn that he has to go under a table at a restaurant. Thank you. He learns to pay for things in a store.
Good boy. Yes.
It's fun having this dog that does these awesome things. It'll be a new independence for his recipient. I like the responsibility. It's helped me grow and learn a lot about myself. So I love Governor very much. He's like a best friend. They always say man's best friend, but it's woman's best friend too. It's gonna be very hard to part with him, but for Governor, it's a new part of his life. It's the payoff time for him.
Tiffany has had Governor since he was a puppy, but now, after a year and a half of training, it's time for Governor to meet his new owner, Dr. McKenna from De Pere. He has multiple sclerosis, and Governor will help him a lot.
Tiffany, how are you? Dr. McKenna, so good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Tiffany now has to teach Dr. McKenna how to communicate with Governor.
Hold.
Hold.
Sit.
Sit.
And give.
Give.
There you go.
Good, puppy.
Good boy, Gov.
I think it's just marvelous for somebody her age to care that much about people and get that involved in some kind of a program like this. It's going to be helping people.
Even though it's hard for Tiffany to give up Governor, she says she's happy he'll be making a difference in Dr. McKenna's life.
It feels great to have known that I helped somebody, and I know he'll be very loved. So I feel good about it.
If you'd like some information on how you might qualify to become a service dog trainer, send us a letter. Grab a pencil and a piece of paper now so you're ready when we give you our address later on in the show.
Did you know the granite used in Grant's tomb is from Wisconsin? Ulysses S. Grant was the 18th President of the United States. He was also a Union general in the Civil War. Grant died in 1885 and is buried in New York, but the granite used to make his tomb came from Wisconsin. And it's the hardest granite in the world. Do you know where in Wisconsin the granite came from? See if you can figure it out, and we'll let you in on the answer later in the show.
A museum gives us a close-up look at things we might not otherwise get a chance to see. Sometimes TV does that too, like in this next story, where we get a driver's eye view of go-karting.
I got interested in go-karting. I watch a lot of NASCAR Winston Cup races. Well, I thought that go-karting would be the easiest way for me to start racing. The name of my class is the rookie class. The classes go by ages and weights. And my class is from 9 to 12 years old. You have to weigh 245 pounds, I think. The weights, they include the person and all the equipment, the cart and all the equipment you wear while driving.
The green flag sounds the start of the race. When the drivers see the green flag coming through that first corner right there, they're going to take off and go like heck.
My very first race, I had set a couple goals for myself, just to finish and to not crash, stay on the lead lap, and I did. So I met my goals. It was a little scary, got really nervous. I think I came in 4th place my very first heat. One of the guys spun out in front of me, and I went around him, and then he came back and passed me, so I was kind of upset about that, but...
Drivers see the white flag, they know that that's the second to the last lap, and the next lap around they're going to get the checkered flag.
I really don't know how I started thinking about go-karts. It just popped in my head one day, and we found one in the paper, and we went and purchased it, and I made a deal with my parents that they'd buy the cart for me, but I'd have to pay it off through chores, and now I've got a paper route, which I get pretty good pay, and I'm paying it off. Yeah, if you like racing, I'd suggest go-karting. It's real fun.
Wow, talk about zooming. Hey, if you'd like to learn more about go-karting, send us a letter and we'll send you the facts.
Speaking of letters, this is a pictograph. It was taken by Native Americans to Washington, D.C. in 1849. The pictures tell a story. Museum educator Tammy Jardis is here to explain. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Shannon. You're right. This is like a letter because it has a message. A group of Chippewa chiefs had a desire to make a permanent home in Wisconsin near Lake Superior on a group of rice lakes. And they drew up a symbolic petition representing each of the important clan members, the Crane clan, the Martin clans, the Bear clan, the Manfish clan, and the Catfish clan. And they showed that they had unity in purpose by drawing a line that connected all of their eyes or their minds and all of their hearts.
What happened?
Well, the petition was successful and they were allowed to remain in Wisconsin near the rice lakes of Lake Superior.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome.
One way to learn about Native American culture today is to go to a powwow. Jason Pettibone invited Get Real to a powwow at the Lakota Ray Reservation where he lives. It's also known as the LCO Reservation.
My name is Jason Pettibone. I live on the LCO Reservation. My Indian heritage is Winnebago, Chippewa, and Ojibwe. A powwow is mainly about people and friends gathering to get to know each other and to meet new friends and to honor people, but mainly it's for people to sing, dance, and have fun. All powwows, or most powwows, begin with the grand entry. The dancers follow the Indian flag, which is a feather staff. The Indian flag is followed by the royalty and the dancers. There are different kinds of powwows, like a traditional powwow and a contest powwow. A contest powwow is where dancers and drummers get judged on how they dance and sing. Some kids that don't understand the Native heritage might want to know about our Native heritage, so they'll know what powwows are and why dancers dance and what the meaning of the songs are. We sing our songs in our native language, which is Ojibwe. I started singing at the beginning of the year because I felt like I would enjoy it and it would make me feel good. There are different kinds of songs for special occasions. There are some songs to honor veterans or honor people that passed away, or if someone is traveling far away, they'll sing a song for them to have a safe trip there. Things I'm learning, what I think are special, is about my culture and my language. Makes me feel kind of good because I didn't really know my Native heritage, but now I'm learning more and more about what I should know.
If you'd like to read more about Native Americans, check out this book. It's Ayoka and the Talking Leaves by Peter and Connie Roop. Ayoka's father, Sequoia, was the man who first figured out how to put the Cherokee language into writing. It's a really neat story. It even includes a chart of the Cherokee alphabet. You can check out Ayoka and the Talking Leaves from the library.
Have you figured out where in Wisconsin the granite was mined for Grant's tomb? Here's a little more information. A specific type of granite was red granite. Red granite is also Wisconsin's state rock. But the granite used in Grant's tomb didn't come from the town of Red Granite. It came from a city that also has the biggest tree in Wisconsin. It's a cottonwood tree and measures 23 feet around, 138 feet high, and 132 feet across. Where in Wisconsin is it? Keep guessing. The answer's coming up in just a few minutes.
This is a reconstruction of a house found at Astaland. Come on in. Astaland is a historic site, found about 30 miles east of Madison.
Archaeologists believe that some Native American families used to live in houses like these more than 700 years ago. Up to 6 people could live in here.
Hey, Asa, since we're talking about where people lived, I think we should do this week's What Do You Think question.
Yeah, 2 of you sent us letters with just about the same questions. Mindy Kierstead of Monroe and Amber Strong of La Crosse both asked, where would you like to live and why? We went to Dodgeville Elementary School to get some opinions.
When I grow up, I want to live in Florida because Disneyland's there, and I thought that would be fun.
I want to live in New York City because I think it'd be pretty cool and fun to live there.
I want to live on a farm because I like animals. but I'd like to live in Atlanta, Georgia because of the beautiful national parks and national forests.
In Highland because my cousins live there and it's a nice little town. In Australia because of all the neat animals.
But I want to live outside of Dodgeville because most of my relatives live here and I like animals.
But I want to live in Holland because I have family there.
I would like to live all over the world because I like to learn different languages, cultures, and the religions.
That's what we say! This is the Wisconsin Veterans Museum. It's right across the street from the State Historical Museum. This museum is meant to honor all the people from Wisconsin who served in any war from the Civil War up through the Persian Gulf War. The idea of this museum isn't to glorify war. It's to honor the people who fought for freedom and to remember war so there are no more.
Some kids in Green Bay are going one step further in learning about history. They participate in reenactments of life during the French and Indian War. We caught up with them at a reenactment in Wausau.
We represent the British Army during the French and Indian War.
In all armies of that time period, women were part of the army. Of course, with women, the children came, because you had to be married to be a part of the army.
During weekends, my friends and their families travel all over the Midwest to show what life was like back then. They obey their parents a little bit more and probably do more chores and stuff than what we do today. It takes a while to get used to that, no TVs and radios and stuff.
This is a cup and ball, and the wooden ball is suspended from a string. And the object of this game is to try and get the ball on the cup.
Oh, we play Jacob's Ladder, cards, and we draw on slates, and we play checkers, and we usually make up songs and stuff.
I have the long skirt on, and I have a bodice, but this is a French bodice, not a British, and I have a chemise on.
One's a wild turkey and one's a tame turkey. They're for the whole regiment, and they've been cooking all day.
I think a lot of kids like doing this is because, you get all the attention and stuff, and it beats sitting home on the couch watching TV.
A paragraph in a history book in school does not constitute a whole generation of life. And that's what we do.
Native Americans had games sort of like the ones that the kids had in that story. Here you try to get the stick through the holes in the leathers. It's fun, and it helped kids with their hand-eye coordination skills, which they needed later to hunt.
This is not easy. We're going to keep trying this while you take a look at a brother and sister from Eau Claire who are both on the Flying Eagles ski jump team.
I'm Tom Rauch, and I started ski jumping when I was 5 years old.
My name is Kathy Malka. I've been jumping since I was 11.
just off the end of the jump, it's kind of like a blast of air hits you on the bigger jumps, and you gotta kind of lean forward or else you'll fall back, and it's pretty fun. Kind of feels like flying, like you're a bird.
When you get on the bigger hills, you start to feel like you're flying. It's kind of a nice feeling, just like you're free and there's nothing holding you up. You're just kind of soaring through the air, even though it's such a short time. It seems to take hours in your mind as you go down.
These are my skis. They're 230 centimeters long, and they're about 4 inches wide. They don't really need to be wider than downhills, but they need to be wider than cross-country skis because you get going a lot faster, so you get more speed and get going a lot farther.
I started ski jumping because I saw some little kids doing it when I was watching my younger brother, and I thought it looked pretty easy, so I started on the Pee-wee bump, which is about a foot high, maybe, and I just kept skiing down it until I could make it without falling, and that took about 3 or 4 jumps. Within the week, I moved up to the 10-meter, which is a little bit bigger, maybe 3 feet takeoff. Within a month, I moved up to the 20-meter, which is the one behind me. And I skied on that for a whole season because that's the age class I was supposed to be in. When I found out that I qualified for the Junior Olympics, I was really excited because it's a really great experience that not many people get to have.
When I first found out that I had qualified to go to the Junior Olympics, I thought to myself, well, I've been training for 7 years for this, and now it's here, so I better just do my best. It was great.
Cool story. You know, it takes a lot of guts for those ski jumpers to fly through the air like that.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'd be scared that the landing would hurt, especially after being that high up.
Well, that's the cool thing about ski jumping. If you do it right, the scientific principles involved make sure that the landing doesn't hurt.
That's true. Can you believe there's science even in ski jumping?
There's lots of science in ski jumping, like aerodynamics and center of balance. But what we're talking about is collisions. Have you ever noticed how ski jumps are always built on hills? That's so that the jumpers can land gradually. Part of their skis hit a higher part of the hill before the rest of their skis hit a lower part of the hill. That way, the collision time between the skier and the ground is stretched out, so the impact is more gradual and doesn't hurt.
So what you're saying is, if skiers land on flat ground instead of a hill, they could really get hurt.
Right, because the impact between the person and the ground would be all at once. And from as high up as these guys fly, that wouldn't be too good for your health.
You know, the idea of stretching out the collision time is also one of the principles behind things like football pads, helmets, and even airbags in cars.
They all make the collision time between your body and some object more gradual, so your body feels less of an impact.
But the fact remains that with ski jumping, you still have to do it right, or you could crash and hurt yourself.
You aren't kidding. That's why what the Flying Eagles can do is so cool. They practice a lot.
If you want to know more about the principles behind collision time, talk with your teacher. There are lots of experiments you can do.
If you said the red granite was mined in Montello, you're right. Montello is in Marquette County in the south-central part of the state. Montello is one of the few cities in the world with a granite quarry on its main street. Tests have proven Montello red granite to be the hardest in the world. Geologists say Montello granite was formed by the slow cooling of magma in the Fox River Valley. For nearly a century, hundreds of people worked in the Montello quarry. Many famous monuments, especially soldiers' memorials, are made out of Montello granite. These include the historic General Custer Monument in the Black Hills, and in Grant's tomb,
General Grant's coffin. Today the mine is no longer in operation and is filled with water, but it stands as a monument to Montello's historic past.
If you think your town should be on our Where in Wisconsin map, write us a letter and tell us why. Send your letter to Get Real, 821 University Avenue, Madison, Wisconsin, 53706. And be sure to include your name, age, and telephone number. This is also the address to write to if you want more information on any of the stories in today's show, or if you have a question for our What Do You Think segment.
When you write to us, you'll become a member of the Get Real Kids Club.
Well, that's all for today's show, but always remember to get real!
Get real.
Major funding for Get Real is provided by the National Science Foundation, supporting education and research in science, mathematics, and technology. In cooperation with Marshfield Children's, care for kids from birth through adolescence at Marshfield Clinic and St. Joseph's Hospital. The foundation of the Wisconsin Automobile and Truck Dealers, giving a boost to great ideas for Wisconsin. And the Humphrey Foundation.
Get Real is made for the kids of Wisconsin by the people at Wisconsin Public Television and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.